Well, today we talked about what I call the paradox of wellness. The paradox of wellness means that on the one hand, most of us feel ourselves compelled towards some vision of wholeness or wellness. It's this happy, this good life where we're free and everything's going the way that it should. And we want this. But on the other hand, we have this kind of deep-seated, long-standing resistance to change. So there we are, stuck, paralyzed in between those two things. I want to be well, but I don't want to change. What most of us do is to stay in the middle, paralyzed in between a vision of the good life and all of the work we're going to have to go through in order to change. There in the middle, we try to treat the symptoms. We try to mitigate the downside of all the things that are going wrong. And we can spend the rest of our lives there. The story of the man in John chapter 5 is the story of someone who is paralyzed in between those two things. Jesus asked him, "Do you want to be well?" And of course he does. But in order to be well, he's going to have to change. And he's become very familiar with his friends and his patterns of life. So for 38 years, he sits by the pool in the same life he's always had, trying to mitigate the downside, trying to get rid of the symptoms without ever dealing with the disease. You may find that same tension at work in your own life. It's certainly at work in the lives of people that are around you. When you go to work tomorrow or you work with people online, you'll notice this very tension. They'll complain because they want things to be better, they want to get well, and yet they can sit there for years without making any effort to change. Into that tension comes Jesus' words. Do you want to be well? He's not asking if you want to get better. He's not asking if you want to deal with the symptoms. He's asking if you want the disease, what is actually wrong with you, to be taken away. That's a question that we must wrestle with, every one of us. And so the way that you might do that is by asking a few other questions of the people that you're working with to see how this might play out. When they start to complain about the way things are or what they want things to be, ask them why they want that. Do you want this yourself, or are you just parroting somebody else's desires? As long as we're listening to somebody else's dreams for us, but we never really have our own, then it's never we who want to be well. It's somebody else. So is it you who wants this for yourself? Can you name things in your life that have become familiar for you and you've settled into them, but they're not right? And you know that they're robbing you of this wellness, this vision that you have for your life. And when is enough enough? When are you going to take those on? Ask them what Jesus is calling out of them. Have them put it in a sentence. Have them tell you what they think Jesus wants them to do. And then, like the man by the pool, just get up and do it. Stand up, take your mat, and start walking. Even if you haven't for 38 years, if you believe God is calling this out of you, then just take the first step. Somebody will be there to help you, and God is already gone ahead of you. You can trust Him. This week, as you talk to these people in your homes, in your offices, on your teams, these are questions I think that might address this paradox of wellness. Help them move out of this phase of being stuck and into the life that God wants for them.